There we go. All right. Actually worked the first time today. Nice to see something works this morning. In any event, hi everybody. This is Career Search Lunch and Learn. I'm Linda Brubaker, and we're going to be talking today about how do I know you and what do we know about you and why is that important? Wanted to welcome you all here. I know this isn't really where you want to be, but we're happy that you're here so that we can support you. As I mentioned, I'm a career transitions counselor, and I've been doing this now for the last 8 years. And my information, everything that I bring you, and all the work that I do is predicated on the fact that I have well over 20 years worth of experience in human resources, including a lot of experience, over 20 years of experience in recruiting, managing recruiters, both internally and externally. So I've been both an internal and an external recruiter. I've been an HR business partner and a hiring manager. In addition, I keep track of what's going on in the market, as Ken does as well. We always check to make sure that what we're telling you is as up to date as it possibly can be. We want to make sure that we're giving you the right information. Our goal is to be able to give you the tips and tricks so that you can move from this group to your next forever job. And notice I didn't say a forever job because I don't believe in them anymore. I really think that it's important to know that you're going to be in control of your own career to some extent as much as you can. We're going to give you the tools to be able to do that. Now, I mentioned that this is not a sales group. We're here to support one another, but I support being on this group. This is my give back, but I support it by doing some individual coaching. So if anybody's interested in doing that with me, I am happy to share my information. I am working with several of you in this room, and I'm glad to do that with others as well. I'm going to add my information into the chat. One of the other things that you should know before we get going is that we have a private group. A private group means that LinkedIn hosts it, but LinkedIn can't see it. In order to join the private group, you have to be registered for these meetings. We want to make sure that what you say there is really something that you can get the support with. So you can share jobs, you can share ideas, you can ask questions, you can ask for support. That's what that private group is all about. It's also where I'm going to be adding the copy of the chat when we're done today. But I'm going to put my information in the chat as well. Please feel free to reach out at any time. And I'm going to turn it over to Ken so that he can introduce himself as well.
Well, hi everyone. Kenneth Lang here from Northern New Jersey. I'm here to support Linda and all of you. I've been having conversations this week with Linda and others about how we can all best support you as career coaches, and we've had some very interesting conversations about that. In addition to my LinkedIn URL, I put in the chat, I'm going to be doing presenting with a bunch of other coaches on Friday, all day at the PMI, which is the Project Management Institute in New Jersey. It's an online thing. It's $5 for members, $10 for non-members. I really highly recommend, if possible, that you join. Not so much to hear me, because you guys hear me all the time, but there's going to be a lot of great information there, a lot of great handouts, and I think they're actually looking at resumes too. So if you have any questions, definitely let me know. You don't have to be from New Jersey to join, but it's a great thing to take advantage of, not just for all of us as speakers, but to connect with all the other people there, because all the people there are in job search. And even though it's a project management institute, it's open to anyone. I mean, you don't have to have certification, so I would highly recommend you do that. Great to be here again, Linda.
Perfect. And remember that most of you are doing project management work in your job, whether you've got that title or not, and you don't have to have the title to do it. So thanks for sharing that information, Ken.
Absolutely. And it'll be in a
Absolutely.
post later on this week too. If you miss it. Like I said, the more networking you do, the better.
Absolutely. And in fact, I'm going to try and join. I'm not going to be able to be there all day, but I'm going to try and join as much as I can. Quick question for you. If you register for it and you pay your fee, can you watch playbacks if you
Yeah,
can't
that's
finish
the whole
all of it?
idea. It's $5 for members, $10 for anyone else. Just to kind of, it's not like a lot of money, but
No.
because it's a nonprofit thing. But the goal of this, you get access to all the slides, all the videos, everything else, and it'll be on the PMI New Jersey site. We actually had a walk through yesterday to make sure all our slides were in order, and of course it was the technical check, and of course stuff didn't work, but that's why we do that stuff.
Exactly. Okay, good. All
Yep.
right. So let's keep going. So as you know, if you've been here before, okay, we start with quick wins. Please in the chat, if you are new, if you haven't added your information yet, please do so. We want to know what you do, how we can support you, and make sure that you're giving us your LinkedIn URL as well. Try and make that a clickable link One of our goals here is to expand our network, as Kenneth said. We want to be able to do that not only here, but elsewhere. For those of us who have free accounts, and I'm still one of those, you want to make sure that your LinkedIn URL is not only clickable, but that if you see the name in the chat, if you see the name on screen, please accept that connection request, even without a connection message. We want to be able to give people the opportunity to build their networks, to connect with you without using one of those connection messages if we can. Okay, so if you are new, please put new all in caps in the chat. If you have a win, please raise your digital hand so that we can share your success. Excellent. Thank you, Maureen. Okay, we'll try and get to you in just a moment. Okay. Can you share your success, Jeffrey?
Yes, thank you very much. I wouldn't consider it a huge success, but a small one. So I'm a CFO controller, and I created an LLC, let's say 5 or 6 years ago, to be able to help companies with their systems, their problems. And so I actually ended up winning, let's say I ended up securing a 15-hour consulting project that's hopefully going to last for the next couple of months and hopefully might lead to bigger things with the private equity firm. So not a full-time role, but a small win.
It doesn't have to be a full-time role. And a small win, and to me, that's not just a small win, that's a pretty big win, is that you've gotten that client, that resource, that contracting role, whatever it is you want to call it, something else that you can add not only to your resume and your experience, but you've got another reference, you've got another project you can refer to. Good for you.
Thanks, Linda.
Absolutely. Anybody else have a quick win? By the way, if you're new to the group, quick win means you tried something even if it didn't work. Okay, even if you got a rejection, that's a win because you put yourself out there. Let's see another one, Jason.
Yeah, I have a first round interview later this afternoon with a company, a local company, which I was able to receive through a referral. So just kind of shows the power of internal referrals. And then there's another organization I interviewed with over the last 2 weeks. I was told by the recruiter yesterday, I'm interviewing Monday next week, but I was told that most likely it's the last round interview before an offer. The recruiter is not internal, it's an external recruiter, but has a very long history with this client and has placed a lot of people there. So I'm crossing my fingers that one of these two things happen.
Excellent. Keep us posted and let us know how we can help. Hi, Dawn.
Hi. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Okay. So my quick win is also kind of a small win, but it could be something bigger, is that I accepted a part-time seasonal job at my local Hallmark store.
Actually, that's a great thing.
Yeah, and I haven't worked retail since, gosh, too long to mention, but I thought it would be fun. It'd be something to fill my time while I'm still looking for full-time work. I made it very clear with her, that I'm just looking for a few hours for now. But when I interviewed with her, she was so impressed with me. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I just love your personality. You're exactly what we're looking for. I'd love to offer you a management position, and after a few weeks to learn." And I thought that'd be great. But, I mean, being a manager of a retail store is just not really in line with what I'm looking for. But I just thought that was a huge ego boost. I haven't had an in-person interview also for a long time. So I'm hoping that's the start of good things to come. And I had since then for full-time work, an interview on Monday for like a 30-minute phone call. And tomorrow I have a 30-minute Zoom for a job that really, really sounds more up my league and exciting. So I feel like maybe taking that job and that little job like gave the momentum out into things that everything's going to fall into place. So
If
I
nothing
just
else,
thought I'd share that.
absolutely. It did two things. One of which is I can see the difference in the confidence level. Okay. and your energy level, which is fantastic. Second is that it gives you that added income coming in,
Mhm.
which helps relieve a little bit of pressure, okay, while you're continuing to look for that next forever job, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Mm.
Oops. Hello there, Deborah.
Hi, thank you for having me. My small quick win is that I got over my nervousness and accepted an invitation to be interviewed for a podcast, the Digital Project Manager podcast, about change management, which is the field that I'm trying to pivot into. And I've been using that on LinkedIn, featuring it as a post, and have been getting some connection invitations from some very interesting people.
Excellent. So how did you get that podcast invitation to begin with?
They actually approached me after seeing my activity on LinkedIn.
Another reason why you have to be active on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
why you have to engage, and why you have to be using that information to talk about what you bring, the expertise that you have. Congratulations. Share the
Thank you.
podcast link in the group so that we can support you.
Sure.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Good luck. Let us know how it goes. David,
Hi, how are you?
good.
I have a quick win as well. So I did secure an interview with a company that I'm very excited about. It's not the company that I'm currently contracting for, but my current contract is going to be expiring in a couple months. So, I need to get out there and see what else is available. But what I want to do is breed patience with everyone as well, because I originally got reached out to by a recruiter, I think it was like August 20th or something at this point, initially about this job, encouraging me to apply, which I finally did. I followed up a couple times, and I just got a call yesterday saying we'd like to interview you. It's going to be a panel interview with six key stakeholders, and it's the first week of November, so I'm starting to prepare for that. They also want me to complete a case study, which I thought would be a little bit more hypothetical, but it's actually very much in line with what this person will do in this role. So I'm like, do I really need to do all this homework and research for them for free when I'm not even like in the job yet? But it's something that they're requiring from all the candidates. So anyway, that's just a quick win that I wanted to share.
Actually, that's a great quick win. And you've made some very important points. Number one, it takes time. And don't say that just because you did something several months ago, it's not going to come out. It may. The longest that I had was somebody who applied for a role in May, didn't get an interview until the following April. Okay, for the role because the positions had been put on hold and so on. Now, the other thing is, and we're going to come back to it in just a minute, but that idea of doing that free work. Ken, can I ask you to chime in on this one too for a minute?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I have very mixed feelings about it. I understand that you want to put your best foot forward, but I'm not a big fan of doing free work because they can take what you're doing and make it their own, and you have no recourse.
Right.
Would I be as bold as to actually say I'll do it for X amount of dollars? Probably not in this economy, but I would just say I wouldn't do it. Or me, because, and if it means that you're losing the opportunity, you're losing the opportunity. Now, it's easy for me to say because I'm not in that situation, but I hear this again and again. They want case studies, they want demos, they want 2-hour presentations. If they can't make a decision to hire you, talking to 6 people,
Mm-hmm.
then there's something wrong with their process, in my opinion.
Right.
I don't know how you feel about that, Linda, but I mean, that's kind of where I'm coming from.
And I understand. So here's my take on it. And here's where my red flag went up, David. When you said it was specific to their role.
Yep.
Okay. What that tells me is for all of those candidates who are coming in, you've now given them that free consulting.
Yeah.
Okay. So my take on these is, yes, you can't really walk away and say, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
You can, however, give them just the outline, just the beginning. and then say, once I'm here on site, here's the process I would go through
Right.
in order to finish this. It tells them that you understand what it's all about. It gives them just a little bit of background. It's kind of that teaser without you providing them with free consulting. And if they ask why you're not willing to do it, well, there are several reasons. One of which is that my time is valuable too, as is yours. Okay. And I want to be able to show you that I can do this, but I honestly can't fully answer this without knowing all of the players, without being actively involved on site and seeing what you've already done. I'm happy to answer questions about my process and what you think how it would work and other things about it. But, at this point, that's what I can do. And I've had people do that successfully. The other thing is, if you really feel like you have to do the work to do that full case study, and my gut tells me that case study is going to take you hours to do. Okay. Yeah. If you're putting together a 20-minute presentation, that may be one thing.
Right.
You're spending hours putting this together to give them all of the right information. I would stay at the start. Okay, please know that this is my copyrighted material. I am happy to share this information with you. Okay, and to help you implement it once I am hired.
Yeah, a great way to phrase it. Because what they're asking for is like a 12-page PowerPoint. I'm happy to do maybe a 1-page, but I think the outline approach.
Yeah, just a high level, because basically you're doing free consulting for them, and someone else would probably walk in there and maybe charge a few $100s or whatever it is. And now they're going to get 7 or 8 people with different viewpoints, and then they'll just turn around and just kind of brainstorm it.
Yep. And unfortunately, I've seen that happen much too often.
Me too. I've seen that with family, and they get all excited about that. I'm like, really?
Yeah. So please be very careful with that. And on all of your slides, okay, put in a watermark?
Definitely a watermark.
That says copyrighted by,
Say
or
draft, or say something.
Yep.
So that they really can't do anything. And because that also shows that shows you how you feel about doing work for them. Because, when I'm a Lee Act Harrison and I send something on, I put draft on it all the time.
Right.
Because
So
I
when
don't
you're
want
doing
the,
it,
right.
right. And it's also your way of showing them that you will respect their confidentiality, their information as well. Okay. So
Thank you.
great idea, but just be very careful with it.
It's like if they ask you for samples of your work, and I used to get asked this all the time, I would put it back on them. I'll say I couldn't do it for proprietary reasons, but I'd say, how would you feel if I showed your samples to another employer?
Right.
And they're like, well, no, well, exactly, that sort of thing.
Exactly. So the idea of giving them an outline, here's what I would do. Okay. Or give them a little bit, and here's, the rest, but please protect yourself. And I know in this economy that sounds terrible to say, don't do everything they're asking you to do. But as somebody on the hiring side, don't do everything they're asking you to do.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay, I saw a couple of other quick wins and at least one person who's brand new. So let's do the one more quick win, or 2 more quick wins. Okay, and then we'll get to you, Maureen, for an introduction, okay?
Sure. Actually, I'm Maureen Freeze. I'm a writer-producer of many decades, and I am in transition. After being fully employed for a very long time, I found the job search game a bit much. So I chose to go back to my freelance work, which I kind of kept open over the years anyway. I just have to update things, and it's a big stress reliever. So I've already gotten on the calendar for some gigs. So en route to doing that. So that was my big win, I guess. Making the decision to do it. Just making the decision to do it. Because that getting hired, the job search is crazy. I can't even tell you how many fake ones I was approached with or almost fell victim to. It's just absolute insanity out there. So that's why I chose to go back to doing what I had done for so long.
Understood. Keep us posted as to how it's going. Congratulations on doing that quick win. That's great. Martin.
Yeah, so my quick win this week was having a very nice conversation with Scott Sawyer, who's also on this call. It was a connection we made last week and set up a call and had a discussion about our industries and what we're going to be doing next and then, looking out for each other. So that's another advantage of being on this call and being connected with people. So it's one of my approaches is connecting with individuals. I know that I've received a few connections already this morning, and you'll expect to
Good.
hear back from me and set up meetings just to chat about life and the industries we're in and the job search environment that we're having to all navigate through. So I just want to quick shout out to Scott for having that great conversation with me.
That's wonderful. Congratulations. And I love the fact that people are networking with each other. That's what this is all about. It's not just networking with people in this group, it's networking elsewhere. It's the starting point. Okay. You never know where people are going to be able to help lead you. And that's one of the things that's really important. And when you were talking about all those fake things this morning, Maureen, I mean, Kenneth, your post this morning was right on, right?
Yeah, it was amazing to me, and I actually did it because again, you can see through a lot of these things, and I put it up as an actual example, cut and paste, and we see them all the time, for sure.
Yeah, unfortunately. And one of the things we're talking about next week is all of those scaries and the scams and the fake stuff and out there and the ghosting and how do we recognize it? How do we deal with it? Some of it you can't deal with other than reporting and blocking, but how do you recognize it is really the important thing. Okay. So we're going to be talking today. Anybody else have any quick wins or anything else to share real quick? Okay, before we get
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I had my hand up, but then
it went down. Sorry about that, Stacy.
well, you highlighted me, but then somebody else started talking, so I just
No problem.
muted myself. I don't know if mine's a win or not, but mine's a / question. So I saw a job on LinkedIn that I was interested in, and I went to check it out on the company website. And on LinkedIn, it showed a couple, 3 days or something, but on the company website, it said it was over 30 days. So I reached out and messaged HR person and said, as politely as I could, hey, what's up? And they said, oh yeah, yes, oh yeah, we reposted or something. And she said, are you interested? And I said, I am, if it's really a real position. So I said, sure, yes. And she said, great, we'll fill out this questionnaire and I'll send it off to the hiring manager. So I filled out their questionnaire. I never actually applied, which I thought was a little different, strange. I sent them my resume and I thought I'd never hear from them again. The hiring manager did reach out and on LinkedIn, and then I thought I'm not going to hear back from him because days went by. And then he messaged me. I got an email this morning saying, hey, we want to confirm that you're okay with the change because, and I saw it, they changed it to GMT hours. And I used to be out in Chicago burbs and moved to Houston area a few years ago, and the company's here in Houston. And that's where I thought the job was, even though it was remote. But now they listed it as you must work GMT hours. And so he asked me in an email today, he's like, we'd like to schedule you a screening interview. Please confirm you're okay with the hours. And I said, yes, I got, in my head, yes, of course, because I would like to work any hours. But why do you think that is? It seems really strange to me.
That they would change the hours?
Yeah, why to GMT? So I'm not going to assume, right, the team's in London, but even though they're located here, I don't understand.
I'm not sure either. My gut would be that it's going to be working with an overseas team.
Yeah. I tried as politely as I could to respond and say, yes, here's my availability for you to schedule me next week. And out of curiosity, I assume the hiring manager and team are located in London because he specifically said London in his email. So we'll see what he responds with. But
Right.
I just thought it
We
was a
can also
little.
check out to see where he's located on LinkedIn.
He's in Houston.
Okay.
Yeah,
Then
I
maybe
did
he's
I did my sleuthing before I
good.
responded to make sure it really seemed like
Is the company based in overseas?
Houston.
Okay. So it's probably because that's where the offshore development team is.
That would be my guess.
If I had to take a guess, in which case,
Yeah.
you know, maybe again, depending how you work with them, it's not, I mean, I worked with a lot of offshore teams in different places too, but it's all about coordinating between the
Yeah,
different time
but they
differences.
want they specifically said you must work GMT hours, which obviously would be like start at 3 or 4 in the morning, which would take a huge adjustment for me. But I'm willing to do it. I mean, I would absolutely hate it, but in order to work and use my skills before they all die away for good, I mean, I'm willing to do it.
All right. I mean, I wouldn't put the cart before the horse. I would just see what happens. I
Exactly.
mean, my
Yeah,
question to you, my
yeah,
question to them, if I was on the phone, is why?
Yep.
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't have you say that to them. But my question is like, why? Because you can communicate in this day and age any way, shape, or form, 24/7, text,
Right.
SharePoint, whatever it is. It's not like you're fit. I mean, but again, this is just me. This is
Oh
how
yeah.
it's at.
And I did it for years. I mean, I worked at various, huge conglomerate banks, and we worked with people all over the world, and we had early morning quick chats and end of the day quick chats, and it worked. So yeah, I'm obviously
What's the
very
job?
Yeah. What,
DevOps. It's a DevOps engineer.
okay. So you'd be working with offshore teams for
That
sure.
would be my guess.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just the first time I've seen one where they've said, hey, and you'll work our hours. And that's a legit company. I've done my math. I mean, they're legit. It just seems strange that the way they listed it and then how they reposted it and then they reposted it with new hours.
The
So
reposting doesn't bother me.
No, no, it
yeah,
doesn't bother me
that
one
didn't
bit.
bother me so much. It's just that when they changed the hours, I'm like,
I mean,
no.
my gut feeling says someone somewhere at that company high up thinks for some reason GMT is so important without really understanding
Right.
why.
Yeah,
It's just one of those things that they're saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I just
And
wanted
also,
to hear your thoughts on it because
I also think that's not necessarily negotiable during the interview process.
No, absolutely not.
Okay. But as you're working,
yeah,
okay, you can change to core GMT hours
yeah,
and figure out
exactly.
what some of those are that still work within your schedule.
Yeah, that would be my hope. But I'm again, no cart before horse. I'm just gonna
But when you
see
get
how
into
this.
work
Yeah,
at 9, 10 in the morning, it's afternoon over there. And
Exactly.
and so at the same time, when it's late in the afternoon where you are, it's evening there. I mean, it's no different than if you're working with someone in California in reverse. I'm in New York. So
yeah,
am I going to call them up at 6 in the morning when it's 9 o'clock where I am? Probably not, but there has to be flexibility, in all different ways.
yeah. And I'm used to it. I mean, I worked with John Winter. He's on this call. We worked together for
Right.
20 years, and yeah, we did it all the time. We had weird phone calls at 6 at night and 6 in the morning because we did handoff, and there was no other way to work, but to do these phone calls. But we did not work from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day.
No.
Well,
Oh,
John did. John did. I'll tell you that. He really did. I did not.
My
Yes.
gut tells me that would not be moving forward in the job itself unless this were an on-call. You have to be there to provide the complete support.
Yes, and that's
Okay,
part
HR
of
decisions.
that's part of the job, doing on-call support, which again I've done for 40 years. Used to it, fine with it.
So that may be the need for the GMT hours. But
Yeah.
again, go to the interview, see what happens, have a
without knowing
conversation.
the process as to what they're doing off hours and what your needs are, it's really hard for us to glean specifics.
Right.
Yeah,
You'll find that out.
yeah. Well, I'm hopeful even just to get past the screening interview. One step at a
Absolutely.
time.
Absolutely.
And Stacey, you also pointed out a really important thing, which was the way you got the interview to begin with. You saw it, you found the name of the recruiter, you reached the recruiter and asked, is this still a viable job?
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, I think I've done this many times after hearing you say, just do it. She was literally the first person that responded. So I'm like, hey, a real human, and they actually act like a human, like a normal,
Yeah.
decent human to even respond. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, nobody ever responds. Like, no recruiter that I've reached out to, or anyone else at the company that I've reached out to just to make a connection. Not a one. This is literally the first one.
Well, that's great. Congratulations. Keep us posted on how it goes.
Yeah, thanks.
Jeff, do you have a comment for this or do you have your own win? Jeff Pate.
He's muted.
Oh, your hand, is that your hand up or is just the light in the background?
Could be the light in the background, but I have had a couple quick wins last week. I got a couple second or third interviews, depending on how you do the math with phone screens, if you count those as part of the interview process. But
I
and they
do
said
actually.
the next step would be another round of interviews, so that was kind of discouraging. But so that would be four rounds of interviews.
Unfortunately, that happens a lot. Okay. And I wish I could say that I'm seeing that go less. Okay, that we're going less rounds. I'm not. The idea that you got a panel interview, okay, with 6 people at a time, to me, that's great. It means the company is trying to get all their stakeholders in at one time, which is a very good thing. It cuts down the interview time, hopefully, but a lot of companies aren't doing that. Okay. Anyone else have a win? If not, okay. By the way, if you've got questions, put the word question all in caps in the chat so we can find you. And I will try, no guarantees, but if we don't get it in here, I will do it in the private group, or I will respond back to you. The other thing I wanted to remind you is that I'm planning now for the rest of the year. And Pam, okay, raised an issue last week about, she'd like to be able to do some conversations about CRMs and how do we follow up with people. So we're going to be doing a roundtable discussion on that next month. If you have additional ideas for programs, please put the word idea all in caps in the chat and I will find you. If you have a speaker that you would like to see us bring in, please put the word speaker all in caps. We want to make sure that these sessions work for you. And once I plan through December, I'm going to start planning for next year. So just because we can't get somebody in right now, we're going to do our best to get everybody in when we can. And if you have those ideas, we really want to make sure that we're working for you. Okay. All right. Yes.
Hi. Thanks, Linda. I'm sorry. I did have a quick win real quick. I would implore everybody to, if they have networking colleagues that they used to transact business with, they're a great resource, because what I was just doing, somebody at IBM referred me to a position, and I had done business with this woman for a number of years, and she's bending over backwards to help me. So
Yep.
That's all I had to say.
Absolutely. It's not just former colleagues.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Okay. So reach out to those people that you did business with in other companies, whether you're in sales, whatever role you're in. Those interactions, they already know how you work. They're comfortable with you. Okay. They can provide you with great support. So great suggestion. Okay. Alan, you PM me with who it is. Okay. Or email me for the idea of the speaker. That would be great. Okay. Now, let's talk about what we're all about today. And that's the idea today is, how do we know you? Or do we know you? Because whether we're doing networking, whether we're looking at LinkedIn, whether we're connecting with people, whether you're reaching out to people, we need to know who you are and what you do. Now, I love the fact that everybody's putting their information in the chat. But if we're looking at it, that's really long. If you had to describe yourself and what it is you're looking for, or what your superpower is, in no more than 15 words, what would you say? Please add some of those into the chat. Think about this not just as your 30-second elevator pitch, because that may be all you have, but if we're going to be thinking about who you are and what we're looking for, what you're looking for, how we can help, unfortunately, we're in the age of sound bites, okay? Shorter is better. I know mine's really long too, and I need to be working on that. But think about what you can do, what you can say while we're looking at it. Oh, I love that. Human hyperlink with global connections. So what are you using that for? People in technology, perfect. Creating change by perfect. Okay, thank you, Deborah. I'm just reading a couple of them. Okay. what you're doing here is great. So if we're looking at these, if you're reading some of these, okay, wait, interesting. You were built to be.
Yeah, I've
Okay.
said that. I've actually said that to people. I mean, it goes over well. If you say, you just say, look, I was built for this role. That kind of disarms them a little bit, but anyway.
And one of the things you want to do is you want to be memorable. You want not only people to know what it is, okay? They want to have something they can hang their hat on, but that built to be is that immediate conversation starter too, which is a really nice thing. Bill, I love yours, bringing clarity, consistency to HR challenges, finding the balance. Perfect. So now when you're doing that, do some of these help you try and understand what people do a little better? You can say yes, you can say no. If it does, put a 1 in the chat. If it doesn't,
Yes.
yes is good. I like that. Thank you for the verbal. Okay. Perfect. Now go back to your LinkedIn headline. On LinkedIn, we can see 40 characters. If you're not telling us in those first 40 characters what it is you do, what you're looking for, who you are, we may not see further. And you're right, Pam, it's enough to ask people, to cause people to ask more, okay? Victor, I love that. Okay.
Linda,
So that bridging the gap, I'm sorry?
I was going to ask if they don't like what they see in the headline at the very
Sorry?
top, that means you're not going to look any further?
Not necessarily.
Oh.
But remember that that's the very first thing we see. If I'm doing a search for someone, David, when I do a search for someone, I see those first 40 characters. If I'm doing a search for somebody who does whatever it is you do. Okay. So I'm going to put in my search criteria, I'm going to get a list of names. And I'm going to see their picture, hopefully. And I'm going to see those first 40 characters. There has to be enough there to intrigue me to look further. The same way that the first 3 lines of your about section needs to be intriguing enough, because sometimes that's all I'm going to read. System will read it all. Okay. No, you don't need to shorten 77 characters, Susan. You have 200 and some characters in your headline. What you need to make sure is that those first 40 are impactful. Exactly. The headline intrigues you, or at least it needs to be enough to try and tell me a little bit about what you are. So if you're the first thing in your headline is, okay, IT multi-trade professional, that's great. Okay. But the idea is if it's just open to anything, efficient, compliant, people first, that's good. Bell, and that's a great way of introducing yourself a little bit. I'd like to see that as part of it. I don't know about you, Ken. What do you like to see as the first thing in the headline?
Something that speaks to more than what your background is, but what are you? And go ahead.
I'm sorry. If we're limited to 40 characters,
You're not.
Oh, you're not limited
Oh,
to
you're
40
not?
characters. Here's
No.
the thing: if you're going to be searched by, they're gonna see the first 40 characters. It's like
I
the
see.
about section. The
Right.
about section is 2 or 3 lines, but everything in there is valuable. If you want to get their attention, simple as that.
Right.
Otherwise, they may not go further. And I put in the chat also, you want to look at yourself on mobile as much as anything else, because that's even a more of a fine-tuned thing.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So in the
thank
headline
you.
itself, you have over 200 characters. I think it's 230.
I
The
should be
reason
able
that
to
I'm
find
using-
something in that many characters. Thank you.
Absolutely.
But
And it's
I-
all searchable. But
I
the
also
idea
put in
is,
I also put in use ChatGPT or AI to help you refine it.
Oh, absolutely. It's my best friend.
Yeah.
right? There are also other tools out there that are headline analyzers.
Mhm.
Now, some of them are good, to be honest, some of them are not because they're trying to sell you services on the back end.
Mm.
Okay. But if you look at a couple of them, they may help you refine that as well and play with it a little bit.
Okay,
We
thank
see
you.
everything. The machines behind the scene
Right.
sees everything and reads everything. So when I'm talking about those first 40 characters, first 40 words, no characters, excuse me. That's what pops up when you've done the search. I've already looked and now I'm seeing that. You want to give me the reason to go in and see more than that. See all of those characters that the machine sees.
And do a reverse search also. Do a reverse search on what you are looking to do and see why people show up where they do.
Yep. And that's part of the idea of how do we know you or do we know you? Have you all searched for yourselves anywhere?
All the time. Yep.
No.
All the
You
time.
should.
Everywhere.
Start with a Google search.
Good idea.
Okay. And one of the reasons that I started suggesting that actually about 9 years ago, when somebody that I was working with went through an interview process and they were getting ready to do a background check, and it came up that somebody with his name was a pedophile. Okay. It wasn't him, but the name was the same. And so it immediately raised those red flags. So doing that, in his case, that Google search helped him preempt it next time. Hey, by the way, when you're doing ready to do those searches, it was really interesting. I was looking up the company. I decided to look up me as well, and I discovered not me, but funny story. Okay. But do look yourself up to see what's there. Okay.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Jason.
Just to Linda's point on doing a Google search for yourself, there is a way, most people don't know about this. I know because I'm in search engine optimization, I've done this for years. But in Google, there is a way to request Google to remove your personal information off certain sites. So happy to walk anybody through it at any point, but they obviously have their rules too. So whether it's a picture, whether it's your address on a certain location, at the end of the day, it's Google's choice, but you can submit the request if there's something sensitive for whatever reason it shouldn't be there.
Can you put that process or a link to that process in our private group or in the chat, Jason?
It's probably easier to screen share it. It's a multi-step process, so we don't have to do it today, but at some
That's
point
fine.
I have to do so.
But I think that's a very good thing to know because you walk the fine line between wanting to be found but not having your personal information compromised.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm a believer, and it's up to you. This one is strictly optional. I don't think it's a bad thing to have your picture out on Google, especially if that picture is associated with your LinkedIn and that's where you really want it. It's another way that I help to decide whether or not you're a real person. What do you think, Ken?
No, I tend to agree. I like to look at all different options when I search for people. I think now especially, even I love Perplexity, I love Claude, I love all of them because it also helps me understand how I'm being portrayed. Forget about me looking for someone else. If I see and it tells me sometimes all the sites that it's getting the information from, which
Yes.
is just as valuable. This is how they're finding me. The more information you can get, the better.
Right. And I'd like to be able to see the search string that includes not just how are they finding me, what are they finding me for?
Yeah.
Because that helps you refine that message as well and make sure that what you're putting out there is what you want to be found for. But removing your personal information, absolutely. Nobody needs to be able to find your street address. Okay, and doing some of these searches. It's another reason why we don't include them on resumes. Nobody needs to do that. Beginning of COVID, somebody actually found my street address. Okay. Lived about 10 minutes from me and decided she just wanted to come over and knock on my door.
Really?
Yeah. It's nobody I worked with again, but yes. Okay, so you do have to be careful about some of that. Okay, so what I want to do is, this is kind of a free-form discussion. We're talking about how do you find Can people see you for what it is you want to be found for? So one of the things is that headline. One of the things is looking in Google, but it's also how do you talk about yourself in those conversations? We all know the importance of a 30-second introduction or that networking introduction, your 30-second pitch. So I'd like you to take a couple of minutes and think about what that pitch might look like. And then what I want to do is put you into small groups. We'll turn off the recording because, okay, at least for the moment. But go into small groups, share your pitch, and then ask people whether or not they know what you do based on that, what it is you're looking for. Now, these pitches need to be short. We need to be able to know what it is you do, what you're looking for, and where. But more importantly, what I'm looking for is that superpower, that thing that sets you apart. Yes, the recording will be available after the session, not in the individual groups, because I can't record all of those. But I always put the recording, in fact, it's running live on YouTube right now. Okay. So you can always go out there and see what's going on. Jeffrey, go to your meeting. We'll talk to you later. Okay. We do these kinds of small group networking at least every couple of months is another way of trying to expand your network and see what's going on. But today we really have the purpose. The purpose is either sharing your LinkedIn headline or your 30-second pitch. Do people just hearing that know specifically what it is you do, what you're looking for? Okay. So that they can help you, so that they can find you. Everybody understand what the assignment is? Questions about it? Okay. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to put you into small groups. Okay, we'll do a breakout session. Once I get there. Breakout rooms. Okay. Now in these rooms, if you need me, all you need to do is at the bottom of your screen, there should be a help. Okay. And I'll come into your room. But we're going to do this for about, let's see, 20 minutes. Because there are 3 to 4 people. What I'd like is not only for you to share your information, but to get advice and support from other people in the room about what that pitch is, how you can refine it, what might make it easier for people to understand. Okay. How they can help you. I'm going to